will eventually get around to fixing it. So, yeah, just a reminder, guys. It's a best of 3 to start things off. ZVZ. In the bottom right, always pink. It is the pink Zerg, Scarlett.
That's right. And in the top left, recently added brand new teammate of Chivo. This is the Korean Kong, soO.
Call him the Korean Kong. Did I get that right? Yeah, okay. Just making sure.
Yep.
Yeah, he has this thing where he's almost destined to beat everyone on his way to the finals. So, you know, people will joke about hoping to be on the other side of the bracket because they know that, you know, they might get to the finals, they might win, but if they meet him before the finals, then they probably won't win, like so on and so forth. It's a funny little meme, but besides...
He's embraced it too.
Yes, he has. I mean, at this point, the universe really does want him to be 2. I mean, his hotel number at BlizzCon was just...
That's what I was going to bring up. A tweet from soO when he had hotel number 2. Oh, good times.
Yeah, exactly. But regardless of those memes, right? Like, Scarlett here... has always been a contender against in ZVZ, like especially seems to have always been something where she really can shine. I guess in the last year it was a lot because the person to shine against was Cyril, right? But just in general, it's always been very good, and I hope that this is going to be like one of those back and forth ZVZs, because ZVZ's actually been really fun in the last year. I mean, I guess I'm inherently biased for getting a couple of really good ZVZs, sure, like Montreal. But I actually think that it's become a very versatile matchup where people are, in fact, going into mutas. They got their lane upgrade type of stuff. It's no longer just Roach versus Roach.
I go with that. You brought up PvP earlier. PvP was my second favorite mirror matchup, with ZVZ being last until recently. Well, actually, I would say since the last patch. ZVZ for me has been a lot more interesting, and I don't know why. I don't think there's been too many patch changes for ZVZ to change. But it just seems like the players are... I mean, obviously, mutas are a little bit better, but there's been sort of a resurgence in Lingbane muta, like you mentioned, and even just that lurker player that a lot of European Zergs have gotten really good at has been extremely exciting. Like, even towards the end of last year, those big ZVZs on the big stages have been really impressive. So, yeah, loving this matchup.
Yeah, and no one started off with anything too impactful to the early game, right? In fact, I think they mostly did the same opener. Pretty identical third bases. Yeah. Overlords seeing each other's drones go out and about. First Baneling Nest does go to soO. We'll see if Scarlett skips. It is a choice that you can make, you know, a bit of a gamble, but usually, yeah, you see Baneling Nest.
Yeah, both players know that Baneling Nest. soO's going a little bit quicker into it, so just like a 1 or 2 units difference here, as we can see that Scarlett's the first one to get some lings on the floor, but it looks like soO, with the earlier Baneling Nest, might be the one to be aggressive. There's 2 queens way out here as well, picking off an Overlord. They're going to come back onto the creep and try and hold on to that third base, but I think soO might be the one to try and turn up the heat here. Yeah, he's going up to 10 lings now. So this is like he's going to rally across the map and see what he can get done here against Scarlett.
Yeah, she does have Overlords in proper places, so she sees a couple of lings exits, but... not many more, and there's no queen even to try and shoo away that Overlord for anything sneakier as time goes on. A couple of Banelings are being morphed. There will be that kind of initiation process to ZVZ, right? You gotta try and find some holes in your opponent's micro weakness, perhaps. But with this many lings, even if you did find them accidentally moving into your Banelings, it wouldn't snowball very much. You know, they're both still kind of droning here and there. There we go, Scarlett back to it. She's also adding on +1 melee, so... I'm happy because this means that, you know, we're going to have that difference of a composition.
That's right. soO's going to go down the Roach path here, and he is very much not committed to this Lingbane aggression. We can see drones in the production tab, Evo, Chamber, Roach, Warren. He's just trying to posture here, maybe take a good connection if he can, maybe force some more units out of Scarlett or something like that. But it's very much going to be the case where... and Scarlett's not even taking the bait, she's droning as well. She's going to be heading towards probably Lingbane and I guess towards mutas as well. Like, Scarlett's been that one Zerg, even with the meta being all about Roach versus Roach headbutt. Scarlett has still been flying the flag of the Mutalisk. She loves the Mutalisks. She's very, very good at it. But unfortunately, as I say that, a Roach Warren goes down and so does a lair. But with +1 melee, I don't think that Roach Warren's actually like a huge tell of what she's going to do. She might still go in the Mutalisk.
Yeah, you know, if it was at the front, I'd actually just be going into the whole, like, mind tricks that could be going down. You know, you only get to see the front, as Scarlett just did to soO. And if you see the Evolution Chamber wiggling as well, you just kind of... There's a solid assumption that it is just Roach +1 missile. When really, like in this case, it could have been +1 melee and fake Roach Warren. But it's in the back, so, you know, maybe it's also for safety. In fact, that's what I'm going to guess it's for, is safety. Like, she won't actually make a ton of roaches. She can get away with it. Otherwise, it would be just interesting to have that +1 melee. Because, I mean, +1 melee lings do chew through things. They're obviously going to be great for run-bys, but they're not going to be, like, lasting alongside a Roach War. If that were the way to go. But it looks like soO, I thought he got a lair. Oh, did he start a lair? Am I crazy? Did he cancel it? Because he's going for a hatchery-based all-in here. Just a lot of roaches coming across the map.
I didn't see the lair. I was more paying attention to what Scarlett was doing, because she's sort of like the weirder one. But this is a big all-in here from soO, and this Roach Warren is absolutely needs to be used right now from Scarlett, because you cannot hold with +1 attack lings and Banes against an attack like this. Those roaches need to be here. She's got a spine crawl already at third. soO has 20 almost army supply advantage over Scarlett here, and he's going to press the issue. Getting these overlords in position to be able to bile down and see where the army is of Scarlett. This is it's going to be rough for Scarlett to hold. Most all-ins are. Plenty of lings on the way as well, which really mess up the defensive, like the roaches when they start firing on the lings of the roaches. It does really hurt, but here we go. She's gone for that defense. She does have a nice concave, but soO certainly still has the numbers.
Oh, it's a nice use of the Bane Lane to get on top of the Routers. The second one, not so helpful. If the lings pile in too, maybe she wishes she had saved that. Spinecrawler adding some decent amount of help here, but oh my god! Nope, doesn't actually fall! A couple extra shots, but does that really matter?
Yeah, soO still got way too much here. That army supply gap is still there, and that's a bad sign because he is inside that third base, tearing it apart from within. Those drones are next to fall. They turn and fight against a lot of speedlings, which will be more than happy to take that fight as they eat them to pieces. Scarlett has lost so much infrastructure here. soO still has that third hatchery mining. She's making whatever units she can. Maybe she can hold on in the natural as she pulls everything back. Trickling in small amounts of units like this is almost certainly going to be a bad call for her. She's losing 1 or 2 roaches at a time every time she does this. Those links around the leftover roaches here are Scarlett, and that looks like it's going to be curtains here, ZombieGrub.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised she's still in it. Once you've... If this is 4 Routers left over, I mean, like, yeah, go for it, but it's a lot left over with lings just flooding across the map, and Scarlett's not exactly waiting for anything too impactful, you know, maybe a Spire, but no, it's just roach upgrades. GG. soO takes game number 1 with a... I mean, it's a typical all-in, but it is one that can be hard to scout at the appropriate times, and I wonder if Scarlett had just, you know, didn't have an ideal build against that. Like, how much does +1 melee help against that specific all-in, really?
It is a tough one to scout because she did go across the map after the sort of Ling Bane attack with a couple of lings just to see what was going on. And the wall in a soO looked pretty standard, right? And if you see a third hatchery, you're like, oh, well, you know, he's going to make some drones and slowly get up in the, you know, roaches, and we'll have a you know, a mid game, a regular ZVZ. Nope. And it's tough to scout that sort of like amassing of roaches unless you have like a speed overlord or something. I don't know how else you get it. Or maybe slip in some, like, if you've got those Serral lings, which seem to be covered in butter and baby oil, they always seem to slip past everything and get into the main base.
Yeah.
Those, then, yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean, I guess if you, like, really read into a lack of drones at the third, perhaps, so then maybe that's because they're only just getting desaturated, or, you know, you were able to pump out more drones than them, so it's not like you can, like, readily, you know, prepare. I don't know, but it's definitely, as we said, hard to scout, and it's one of those games, one of those builds where you're just like, okay, yep, you did that thing, I get you, and then the series goes on. Scarlett's no stranger to being, like, actually way behind in ZVZs. She has played a couple best of 7s, where she's also come back in this matchup specifically. As I said, I think it's really a good matchup for her. But sometimes, you know, she has her bad days. There is a lower bracket to this tournament, just FYI. If you were here yesterday, maybe you think it's the same thing. Nope, double elimination. So if she falls down, she faces some other still pretty serious opponent, I'm going to assume, but she does have another shot to make it through. Top 3 advance today onto the, I believe it's a round of 24 for the main event or something like that. So a little bit odd, but that's how it's going to go out. That's how it's going to go down. We're in game number 2. In the top right is the pink Zerg. She is Scarlett.
Certainly is. And in the bottom left, currently 1 up in the series, this is soO from Team Chivo.
Exactly. All right, so no early pulls again. Looks like soO is going to be going for the 17 hatch and Scarlett for 16. Very slight differences. Probably not too impactful, but A lot of times that 16 hatch means that they're going to be a little more prepared against an earlier Ling attack, right? And I guess it would make total sense if the person up 1 would just start things off with some type of early pull. Doesn't have to be super committed, right? So, better safe.
Yep, just taking it easy. We've got a bit of that gentleman's agreement here in ZVZ, with both of them going for the hatchery first, up at the gas, the pull. It's I call it the gentleman's agreement because there's no, you know, early pull or early gas or pull first or anything like that, where you can be a little bit cheeky. Yeah. Basically means, you know, I just want to get to that sort of normal 2-base sort of build. I don't particularly want to go all in, but I'm sort of assuming, similar to a lot of the ZVZs I've been seeing recently, there is going to be like a Baneling Nest at some point, just for safety. You can of course like skip it completely and cut a few corners there and maybe go over to Roach Warren a little bit quicker or 3rd base a little bit quicker. But I feel like players like Scarlett or soO, no matter who decides to do something like that, will generally get punished for it. So more often than not, the Baneling Nest is plopped down.
Yeah. Now, Cerulean Fall is a map where we see, I think, more than other maps. It's not, like, just this map or super uncommon elsewhere, but it seems to be more prevalent on this map. The Roach Warren wall off at the front into macro-based play off of 2 bases, right? Where you could all in from that. You could get a Secret Spire. You could hide 20 Lings behind it. Or you could play the serious macro game, where it's just a bit of a slower 3rd, but a safer 3rd where you're already advanced over to that higher tech. It happens on this map a lot. Also, there's a Nidus Storm you can hide behind it. Basically, and I think that's why it's like it's so easy to wall off. That creep does actually reach that fast. And there are some, blind spots to that Nidus Storm. So that was like super popular. The only thing I would see on Cerulean Fall in a ZVZ for like a month. It was somewhat entertaining. But nope. Not for Scar at the very least. soO, it kind of remains to be seen. He's not sending a drone over, and it is around that time that you usually see a 3rd with Ling to Ling wars.
Certainly. We've seen that 3rd base a fair bit earlier here for Scarlett. And soO's going to start off that wall here, usually with a Roach Warren involved as well. Needs to... What's going on here?
I think... So if you think you can get away with it, like if they're not going to go for a big Ling flood, you can push off the Roach Warren until... I mean, I feel like I've even seen people push it off into like starting their lair, because they're like, well, you're not going to come at me. So at least they have the +1, which is something that you can't really make up time for, right? Going in at those, yeah, the Roach Warren eventually comes down. So he's doing what I was talking about, and he is actually getting +1 missile. So, well, or he's hold on here. Now, there's a lot of Lings, and they didn't just go flooding out to try and poke and prod. They are hiding.
Oh,
so that might be not even a fake. Like, he could actually maybe perhaps let that finish, like, go on, but he is looking to do an attack.
This is actually such a sick timing, and Scarlett just sees it now, going over Overlord. 16 Lings streaming across the map with 16 more in production. Lair, Roach Warren, all that's coming up behind for soO, so he can switch into Roaches and get that tech up. But this is just a big timing attack to try and kill this 3rd base, or potentially do even more than that here against Scarlett. These 2 queens are absolutely going down. She does not have the units here to hold on. She actually only has 6 lava to work with as well. She's just turning all that she can into Lings to try and defend. Yeah,
she's actually even going into Banelings, Roaches, so... And drones, that's what I was trying to get to, drones, jeez. She's going into drones, so it seems like she's just acknowledged, like, I can't do much about the situation. Like, she's protected in the natural because now these buildings are nice and healthy. They've been going for a long time, but she can't do very much about that 3rd base going down. Trying to save it would be just a folly. She can perhaps keep up with the drones, though, and there's that weird thing that happens that if you're, like, both in the same drone count up to about the mid-40s, and you still get that hatchery at a okay-ish time, it's not canceled repetitively, like, it actually turns out okay. Obviously not the greatest thing, but it can work out, and it certainly works out better than trying to panic, lose all your units trying to save that 3rd base, and then just straight up lose the game.
Yeah, certainly. And it looks like Scarlett's got the Roach count and the Ling count as well combined to be able to shoo soO away. Pun not intended, or, rhyme not intended. And she's just taking her time here. It's like, do I get that 3rd now? Do I get a little bit, these Lings are still a little bit annoying. They can swing around. There's a few angles here on this 3rd base. They're going to go for that surround. soO thinks he can take this fight. This is going to be a tough one, though. There's extra couple of Roaches coming in from that natural. These Roaches really can tank Lings for quite a while, but as they go down, it does exponentially get better for Lings, and they actually do wrap around there. It's the experience of soO getting shown here. And Scarlett trying to hide that drone, but you cannot run and you cannot hide from these Lings of soO. He is completely dominating right now, keeping Scarlett pinned back again on 2 bases and losing a few Roaches while his 3rd gets up back the other side of the map.
Yeah, things are looking just absolutely perfect for soO, who, yeah, he didn't have his 3rd either, right? But now it's a whole hatchery ahead. Overseer even being used to kill some creep tumors. I thought was a interesting little addition. We don't usually see this early on. Maybe later when the threat of tunneling claws could come into play, but very early. soO is just moving across the map. I mean, he has roach speed. He has his +1, which has been researching for a very long time. So does Scarlett with the upgrade at the very least. But does she have enough army to hold on to this?
It's once again in one of those situations where she doesn't really have that supply looking good for her. She's down about 20. soO's got those lings to sort of draw a bit of that attention for those roaches to shoot at the lings rather than there is room roach line. And this roach attack was very deadly. These queens are in trouble. This pocket of roaches is in trouble. soO has his pick of the litter. He's like, I can kill this, I can kill that. There's really nothing you can do about whether I choose to go left or right here. And it looks like he's actually going to have, have his cake and eat it too, which is a weird saying because why would you have cake if you're not going to eat it? He kills those lings, he kills the queens, he's killing these roaches as they pop out. Once again, Scarlett just caught without enough, and soO is just... I mean, he could cancel this third hatchery. I also think he could potentially just end this game.
I think so as well. Scarlett's banking on this +1 carapace kind of carrying her, and if she hadn't already lost so many roaches, I think that it would have made up maybe like an 8 roach disparity or something like that, and good positioning. But it is past that. She is less than half the roaches of her opponent, and they're quickly making their way across what is a relatively small map with roach speed. So this seems like it will be the end of Scarlett for this specific best of 3. And I'll have to see if she can do anything in the losers bracket, because, yep, that is game.
That's right, GG. soO getting a 2-0 victory over Scarlett in a very dominating series, actually. Both games